Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm just going to wait about a minute just for everyone to slowly come on to the webinar. We are also streaming on Facebook Live as well, so I'm just going to wait for everyone to sort of get themselves prepared to take notes and whatever they like to grab just for the webinar for the half hour that we have today here. So I'm just going to mute my audio and stop my video just for about a minute, and then I'll come back on. Okay, everyone, so we will get started here. Welcome to our webinar today. Today we'll be talking about how Toronto Jobs can help you find a job. My name is Sandra and I'm the marketing coordinator at TorontoJobs.ca. And joining me is Eglys Perez. She is the director of recruitment at TorontoJobs.ca. And I'm just going to go over a couple of things just before I pass it over to her. We are taking questions at the end of the webinar, so probably about 5 minutes at the end. So if you have any questions, there's a little box at the bottom of your screen. It's named Q&A. You can post your questions in there. You're also more than welcome to post your questions into the chat as well. And I'll come back at the end of the session to help moderate the Q&A. And we are also recording the webinar session as well. So if you do want a copy of that, we will have that up on our YouTube channel, and you can go back and read over your notes and go over anything that you felt that you had missed during this session today. Other than that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will pass it over to Eglys, and then I will see everyone at the end.
Hello. Thank you so much, Sandra. So like Sandra said, my name is Eglys Perez, and I am the Director of Recruitment here at TorontoJobs.ca. So it's a pleasure to be with you today, and thank you so much for attending this. So I'll first just to introduce myself a little bit more and give you a little bit of a brief on my background, and then of course we will dive into the material for today. So I myself have been in recruitment for just over 10 years now. It's been a very exciting and challenging career thus far, and definitely now with, of course, the pandemic, it has become even more so interesting and exciting. With that being said, I started off as a junior recruitment consultant, and then just kind of threw my way during my career to, of course, director and leading a team of recruiters here at TorontoJobs.ca. We do a lot of different types of roles and search for different positions, specializing mostly in accounting and finance. However, there are other roles that we do generalize in as well, such as administrative or sales or marketing. And that's about that. Toronto Jobs is multifaceted. So a big part of this webinar is to really give you an insight on the different services that we have, especially when it comes to helping people find positions or find jobs. So if you're here and you're looking for work and you've heard about us, not really sure where to start though, because maybe you've seen some ads about our our webinars, maybe you've seen some ads about our events or our, of course, job posts, then, and you're not really sure, where to start. So hopefully this will give you a good sense and a good guide. So with that said, let's start. One thing we do love to do here at Toronto Jobs is we love to go over the market or the job numbers of the labor market. And the reason for this is because it really gives us a clear picture on, where we are right now, especially in the Toronto market, but overall Canadian market, in terms of jobs. What can we expect? What are candidates looking at? If there's jobs, if there's not jobs, if it's, and how in our right now, of course, how the pandemic is affecting everyone in that sense. So we're going to just go over a couple of details, and I'll leave you to kind of see if they mean anything to you. So the first thing I should note is that employment rose by 55,000 in December. So that's quite a bit of jobs. And actually, I was talking to a few clients today, so companies that were hiring, and they all say they were very, very busy hiring last few months, especially November, December. So hopefully there's that trend continues. And if you're looking for work, you're going to see a lot more job posts. The other thing that to note is that full-time employment rose by 123,000 in December, which is a lot. At the same time, what they saw is that there was a decline in part-time positions by 68,000. So while full-time positions are rising, part-time positions are declining. Can mean various things, but there's obviously a lot of full-time work out there to be had, which is great news for a lot of us. The total hours worked fell in December, and it was the first month decline since June of 2021. That could mean many things. December, of course, is a bit of a holiday season, holiday month, I should say. So it could be due to that, or it could be due to perhaps the rise in the COVID cases, so who knows. The number of Canadians unemployed for 27 weeks or more fell for the second consecutive month. So this is a good thing, right? As we said, more jobs are being provided and are being filled. So that's hopefully we're going to see more of that. So after having regained its pre-COVID level for the first time in November, total hours worked fell in December. So again, not sure what it's from, but something to know. And across Canada, the province with the lowest unemployment rate is Quebec with a 4.6%. And the province with the highest unemployment rate is Newfoundland and Labrador. So, Ontario kind of falls close to Quebec, not as low, but our unemployment rate last month was 5.9. So if you were going to take, the highest of 11.6, lowest 4.6, and then put us, in there relatively pretty low. So for job seekers out there, hopefully there's some opportunities for you guys, but I know that we often get questions from overseas or candidates that are looking not just in Toronto. So there you go. Okay. And then just wrapping things up here in this section, just want to go over some data on the cities. The city with the highest unemployment rate across Canada is Peterborough. Actually happens to be where I went to university. So if you're not familiar with it, it's a small town between Oshawa and Kingston, and it's the unemployment rate there is 9.5%. The city with the lowest unemployment rate across Canada was Quebec City, with 2.6, which is very low. And of course, the larger cities, Vancouver unemployment rate was 5.7, and Toronto was 7.2. Right. So thank you for that. So now what we want to do is we want to talk about TorontoJobs.ca. Like I said, you may not be aware of all the different services or really where to start if you're looking for work and how to approach us. We do have a variety of resources out there. We have a number of people as well that you could reach out to, or websites. So let's start with that, and hopefully this will help you reach out in whatever form you feel is best. So first thing is you can actually send your resume directly to us. We do have a email address specifically for this, which is resumes@TorontoJobs.ca. And this will go directly to our recruitment department, and it will be reviewed by recruiters. The second thing you want to know, of course, is that I'll put myself out there and you can email me directly. So I am the director of recruitment, which means that if if I'm not reviewing your resume, then of course I'll pass it on to my recruiters as well. And that's Eglys@TorontoJobs.ca. Now, our president, Mark Eglys, he has done actually a couple of videos. One in particular it's called How TorontoJobs.ca Can Help You Find a New Position. So you can go through that link. I believe Sandra's posting it in the chat. And it's a good video to look at just to see, again, how you can work together with our team and all the different resources that you can utilize. So the next thing also is just noting that you can post your resume on our website. So our website, if you don't know, it's www.TorontoJobs.ca. And like I said, even though there's different things on the website or to the website, one of the first things is that it is a job board, essentially. So you can post your resume on there and you can search directly for positions on there as well. Please note that the positions are not necessarily coming from my department. We do have our own section, which I'll mention after this, but they are positions that are posted from a variety of companies around Toronto or elsewhere. On average, there's usually over 30,000 positions on our website. So it is a great place to start. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you're posting your resume, but also searching the positions that are actually posted on there, okay? And like I mentioned before, so we have a specific section of the website that is dedicated just for the recruitment department and the listings that we are working on. So they're not the same thing as the general postings. With that said, of course, Sandra's helping out on the chat if you want to see the link. But those are the positions that our recruiters are searching on. So if you want to work with our recruitment department, then that's the place to go. Great. Also, there is a link that Sandra's going to put on the chat that is a guide, essentially, that our company has created, which is a guide for tips on searching for a new position. This is a really nice tool that you can take time to read over. It's just kind of a go-to if you're new to the job market, perhaps you've just graduated or you're new to Canada and you're not sure about the etiquette or recommendations or standards that are typical in a job search or interviewing process. So that's a really nice guide that is created and provided by us. The next thing is LinkedIn. And don't we all love LinkedIn? So if you have not created a LinkedIn profile, please do so. This has now just become a typical thing. It's an essential piece of finding a position now. So that's a whole different world, but you can find us on LinkedIn. So Sandra can put in my LinkedIn profile on there. Like I said, if you haven't created your own profile, do so and then connect with me and you can follow our company on LinkedIn as well. You'll see all the different updates, positions, everything that's going on with us. Now, there's another service that we provide that a lot of people don't know about, but it's being utilized more and more these days, which is a one-on-one coaching or resume review session. You do have the option of doing it for 1 hour or 2 hours. And a lot of the time it's going to be with myself or with a senior recruitment consultant or even our president. So it really just depends. But this is a really, really nice option for people who are perhaps, again, new to the job market. Perhaps you are making a career change and you're not really sure how to go about that, or you have a mix of different kinds of experience and you're not really sure where to go from here. So there's a lot of different reasons why you may want to consider this, but I know, again, Sandra's added the link for you, and feel free to check it out. It's, again, one-on-one with a recruitment specialist such as myself or someone else that can guide you through resume writing, interview tips, and just kind of going from there. The other thing that we do is our virtual events. I myself am not too involved in this, but these are really, really great events to check out. There's all kinds of different events for different markets and different groups of people. But you may be surprised. There may be something in there for you. Maybe there's a networking, maybe there's a certain type of event that's going to lead you to networking to your next position. You never know. So check that out. And our president, Mark, he has written a book. It's called Tales from a Recruiter, a Canadian Recruiter's Perspective on how, sorry, I'm missing the rest, but Sandra's put it there. So you can find that as well. Oh, how to get that perfect job. There we go. But, I would check that book out as well. It gives you a nice perspective from, this end of the table, and you may get some tips in there, or something that you just didn't think of before on when you're looking for a position. All right, so the next thing, of course, is social media. So not just LinkedIn, but really just all social media. It's something that nowadays, again, has become essential to any career or job search. Please follow us on social media. So Sandra will put our links on there. We are on LinkedIn, or on a number of things, Twitter, Facebook. And again, there may be some really interesting content there for you, but also just job posts in general. And make sure to register for our new hiring platform, which is called Kahuza. So this is essentially, again, our president business and another side of our business. It's very, very exciting, very innovative. And basically, this is a new platform where you can register. It's like a job board, but way more than that, and you can actually get interviewed on the spot by hiring managers, which is super exciting. So please check it out. I don't think I did it justice there. Please go ahead and check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, and then one of the final things is subscribe to Toronto Jobs YouTube channel. Again, talking about social media, you can watch hundreds of videos there on job searches, resumes, interviews, and other things that are related to your job search. So go ahead and do that, and you'll find more content. I know that I talked about it. Sandra will post the links for our social media, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I didn't mention, and LinkedIn. And make sure to post your resume on our site. I know that a lot of people will just start by looking at the positions, and that's kind of the go-to, but don't forget that there's companies out there that can use TorontoJobs.ca to look for you as well. So it is vice versa. So make sure to post your resume on there. And then, of course, just wrapping up here, but words that you can use on a resume and resume builders, all that stuff. There's a link where you can access all of this information. So Sandra will put that on the chat. And then, there's also another link if you want to find out what you should be earning. So this is really kind of a salary guide or a salary calculator. So feel free to use that as well. And we do provide all these resources for everyone. And last but not least, I will say that you can reach out to us anytime. We do have a number you can text and we will reply to you right away. And it's 289-206-1651. And Sandra will put that on there for you. But again, this is a number that you can text our recruitment team directly. If you have any questions, if you have, any requests in terms of, what you're looking for, or you don't know where to send your resume to, you feel free to text us directly. All right, so that's some information about the services we provide that hopefully can help you find your next position. And that being said, we're happy to help out. We're happy to connect with you, and we're really looking forward to hearing more from you in the future. And that's it. Thank you so much. I'll let Sandra take over. I believe there's a Q&A now.
Hi there. Okay, so Eglys, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions that we have here. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I'm like, I can't see you. And just if you can put your mic on. Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so just a couple of questions before we wrap up here. And then just a reminder, I was posting all the links on the side, so you can jot that down or copy and paste it into your document or whatever, so you can keep it. Yes, so questions. So the first question that I have for you, Eglys, is how can job seekers and candidates deal with recruiters?
Well, I think the first thing to note is that there's so many recruiters, so many options, and we're not all the same, meaning that there may be a recruiter or recruitment staffing firm that specializes in an area. Some do warehouse and labor work and general labor, and some don't. So I think it's really important to first get to know which recruiter you're dealing with, and if that's first a good match for you, because it's not always a good fit. And then, of course, with that being said, feel free to really ask the questions you need in order to find out how the process works. Again, it's not all the same. Maybe you need to follow up with that, maybe you don't. It really would just be a very open conversation with that firm or that recruiter. And I would say, make sure that you're looking at the reviews, making sure that you're, just make sure that they have a good reputation and you're feeling very comfortable with the recruiter that you're working with. It is important that you have a trusting relationship with anyone that you're working with, especially when it comes to your job search.
Okay, we have a question here from George, who is just looking for some tips on, he's over 60 and he's looking for some tips on finding a job, as an older gentleman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because I know, I get candidates all the time with this type of question. Honestly, there's this fear that your age or your level of experience can be a turnoff for employers, but that's not necessarily always the case. I think that you really just have to gauge what you're offering, what you're bringing to the table, because you are experienced in your field. Maybe, you just have to really make sure you're dedicating your application to that, right? To a hiring manager that's looking for that. I've had the reverse, right? I've had where hiring managers say, what, I don't want someone fresh in the market because, I don't want to train. I don't have time to train, for example. We just don't have the staff at that time. So there are really pros and cons to everything, but there are benefits to having that much experience and kind of being at that place in your career as well. But I would, again, just kind of highlight that for yourself and make sure you're tailoring your application to a position that would make sense for you, or that you would be the person they're looking for.
Okay. Another question, it's about resumes. If you can maybe give a couple of tips on what sort of keywords job seekers can use in their resumes.
Well, I think it depends a lot on what you're looking for, right? On your field. I mean, there's going to be different keywords depending on what field. So obviously you're going to you're going to know that yourself, right? You should be highlighting the top qualifications that you see on every single job posting you're looking at. If you're looking for a specific field, let's say accounting or even administration, you're going to see consistencies throughout the job postings that you're looking at. So make sure that those are on your resume if you have them, if you have those qualifications. Other than that, of course, there's generic things like, of course, people just want to see a little bit of personality or a little bit of confidence in your resume, right? Not overbearing, but it's okay to say that you have certain experience and what accomplishes you've made, right? I think that's a big one that people miss a lot, is they focus on, oh, well, I'm hardworking, but don't just say you're hardworking. Explain to me why you're hardworking, right? Like what about you or your experience says you're hardworking? So I think it's not just keywords, but it's really what you're outlining in your resume, if that makes sense. So just provide the example in your resume. This is what I accomplished. Therefore, I will see that you're hardworking.
And then just going off of resumes, what is the best resume to use, chronological or functional?
Okay, there is no best. I think it really depends on your individual situation and circumstance. They are very different. So chronological, just for those people who don't know the difference, chronological resumes are those probably most common, where you would go, list your experience in order, right? So from the last experience or the newest to the oldest. And then functional resumes is really where you don't go into too much detail about that. You're really going to detail about your skills. So it could benefit differently. And what I would say is, if you have a lot of experience, but it doesn't really flow together, for example, you were in different industries, doing different things, then perhaps a functional resume would work best, because there's not that chronological flow where, I was a junior recruiter and then I went senior and then I was a team lead and then I was a director. There's not that flow necessarily, where people don't, it's not important that they see that or not. I hope that makes sense. And then also on the opposite side, if you do have that flow where you want to showcase that you've been promoted in your field and you want to showcase your growth in your field, then I would say chronological for sure.
Okay, we have a question from Michelle, and she is wondering, if you are new to the field of office administration, what's the best way to say that in your resume?
So sorry, are you, I guess it depends, right? I guess I do more details, but if you're saying you just want to apply to administrative positions but you don't have that background, I would try to, of course, you're going to list the background that you do have, the background experience, but try to just pick out, even if it's the littlest things, just try to pick out administrative tasks that you did in those jobs, right? Like, even if you worked in retail, there still could be administrative components depending, right, on what you did. If it's like an end of day cash out and you have to go through some administration at that time of day, like, I would just, highlight those things as well. So don't forget that you may have some transferable experience.
And oh, okay, yeah, she said thank you. Okay, perfect. So I guess that was an answer to your question. So I guess I have one more question here just before we wrap up today. So I know that the webinar title was the best way of finding a job, or how Toronto Jobs can find you a job. But is there really a best way to find a job, or is it's just very different and everyone has a very different experience?
Yeah, I think I think you're going to get different answers from different people. And I think that's because there may not be a best way. The best advice that I can give is to put your eggs in as many baskets as possible, right? So don't rely on just one source or just one, one thing. It's just go out there and make sure you are networking, make sure you're keeping up to date on, what's happening in your field. Make sure that you're trying different job boards, make sure that you're connecting with people. And I think that's one of the biggest things is, connecting with somebody personally makes a big difference, because you'll be remembered. right? And even if they don't have a position right away, maybe they'll know someone, maybe, oh, I actually, I was talking to this guy the other day, it's just trying to be remembered or trying to participate as much as possible. So the answer is no, there's not a best way, but I think that the best thing to do is really try as much as possible and just get out there and put yourself out there as much as possible.
Okay, is there anything else that you'd just like to add before we wrap it up?
No, you know what? I think overall, it is I know we all know it's an unprecedented time right now, but the job market is very busy. So I hope that, people are left with some optimism in their job search. And I hope that, I wish you all the best and hope that we can connect as well and hope that Toronto Jobs can be a great resource for you.
Okay, I'm just going to link again here the resumes at TorontoJobs.ca email, and then also your email, Eglys, as well.
Great. Yes.
There we go. So if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to either of those emails. And again, I was recording the session, so I'll have that up on YouTube for anyone if they'd like to view it there as well. But other than that, thank you, Eglys. Thank you so much for spending the time today to give us all that helpful information. And thank you to everyone here on Zoom and on Facebook Live for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Sandra.
Okay, thank you. Bye, everyone.